Hi everybody, it's Jenny from the Missouri Star Quilt Company, and I am here with Missy Luukkonen, and Missy is the owner of the Little Green Bean.
Yes.
Tell us about that.
So we, well now I am teaching sewing classes online, but we started doing home decor and making all kinds of different things.
Yes, one of the different things that she used to make was gnomes, and I love them. Yes. And you could not
They're
get
lovable.
one.
They're lovable.
They are lovable, but you know, she would list them, these cute little ones. They would have little cups, just all these little things in them. And I wanted one so badly because, you know, I'm a gnome person, and they just would sell out so quickly. And if you thought about it, if you even took a moment to think about it, they were gone. And so I got one in my cart one time, but it never made it all the way through. Yeah. You know, somebody stole it from me.
Somebody stole it right
So
from
what
checkout.
did you do for me then?
So I made her very own Jenny exclusive gnome.
It's so cute.
Nobody else has. Well, no, Cherry has one too.
Is it identical?
I don't think they're
quite
quite identical.
Yeah.
Not quite. Yeah, they're a little different.
They're so cute. Anyway, so Missy does all these crafts. Well, then she started coming and visit us at Missouri Star. Mm-hmm. And when we were doing the Doan Girls Sew Off for Birthday Bash, I just wanted her on my team. I knew what a fabulous sewer she was. I knew she was going to be able to make all the things, and she was going to be fastest. And for once, I was going to beat Natalie and Misty. So I was super excited to have her on my team. We were doing the easiest block. We were doing half square triangles, and I just started throwing them back to her to make. She had never made a half square triangle. Is that true?
Yeah, it's true. I had never made one. It was my first official quilt block, and I didn't know what I was doing. And I pretended.
So then she very quickly learned how to make half-square triangles.
I did.
And now you're like addicted to them.
I love them.
You are a quilter.
I am a quilter, and I love them.
They're
so easy to make, and they're very versatile.
Oh, so many designs, right?
Yes.
It's probably one of my favorite blocks as well, because there's just nothing you can't do without them. So now you're a quilter.
Now I'm a quilter.
She's making patterns.
Yes.
And so I just wanted to show you one of her patterns. You know, I thought it would be really fun to do this together because they're just cool, and it's fun when you see somebody who's like newly in love with something and addicted to it. They're just like putting all kinds of cool things together. So let's take a look at this quilt that you brought us today. So this is Missy's quilt, and we're calling it?
Pinwheel Path.
Pinwheel Path.
Yes.
And so it's two blocks. It's this pinwheel block and this cool kind of economy-ish type of block.
Yeah.
And we're going to show you how to make those. So to make this quilt, you're going to need one packet of 10-inch squares, and actually there's 42 in there, but you
use 40.
You use 40, yeah.
Yep.
And so then you're going to need some background squares, and you know, if you're buying white or black, they come in 42 packs, but if you buy a color, and how cute is this pink?
It's really cute.
I knew she'd love it.
I love the pink. Especially with Christmas.
These come in junior packs, and so there's 20 in each pack. So we're going to use every single one of those. And then for our backing right here, you're going to need 5 yards of a 45. And let me show you this backing because it's really cute.
Oh, it's so
Isn't that
perfect?
cute?
Yeah.
And this quilting pattern with the snowflakes.
With the snowflake.
Yeah. I just think that's really, really fun.
Yeah.
So I think that quilting pattern, let me tell you what it's called exactly. It's called Snow Winds. And so it's just a wonderful snowflake pattern that we like to use. All right, you're also going to need a pattern. This is Pinwheel Path, and your pattern will look like a real pattern. Our pattern is printed off.
Right.
And a squaring tool, because we're going to square, this is a half square triangle quilt, and we're going to square them up. So you can use the Clearly Perfect slotted trimmer, or you can use any block. This happens to be a 4.5, which is exactly the size we're looking for, and it should have a diagonal line in it. So either one of those will work, and we will show you how to do this. So to make this quilt, we have to make a half square triangle.
Yes, we do.
And so what method do you use?
I like the easy 8 method because you can make 8 at a time, and it's so quick.
All right.
People think this takes forever, but really, it's pretty fast.
It's pretty fast.
It is.
All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to take a background square and a print square.
Yep,
put them right sides together. And I'm just assuming you jump in if I'm telling, if you have a new magic
Well, I know how to do this now, remember? I learned.
Yeah, but there are lots of ways to make a half square triangle, I'm just saying.
No, I know. All right, so you draw the line diagonal down the center.
Yep.
And then basically making an X from corner to corner.
You want me to sew?
Sure, you can sew.
All right.
And then we're going to sew 1/4 inch alongside each line.
Both sides?
Both sides.
Yeah.
Yep.
I used to say either side, and people would correct me, and I'm like, no,
both sides.
And then we'll just whip that back around and sew down the other side. And then we're going to go to the other X and sew on both sides of that. There we go, one more side. Oh, there we go. Okie doke. Now we're going to cut this.
Now we're going to cut it, and you just use your ruler, and you're just going to cut along the line that you drew.
Okay, wait. Can I show you a little Jenny Joan trick?
Do you have a trick?
I have a trick.
I want to learn all the tricks.
So the trick for this is that I always cut, I use my 5-inch ruler, and I always cut the vertically and horizontally first because there are no lines for that.
And you still have the line.
And you still have lines. And so I do this way, here, and then we cut on the lines because
that's a great trick.
This will help so you don't, because you know you get that odd piece and you're like, where is the center and how do I cut this? So here, I'll let you cut these last two.
All right.
Oh, we have so many rotary cutters.
We
Look
do.
At that. You've tried our new rotary cutter, haven't you?
These are the only tools I use.
Oh, I love
I just
her.
ordered a second set so I can have one set in the house where I sew and one set in my craft room. And then I also have a spare of the seam ripper because, well, we use those a lot.
We do use
And it's my favorite seam ripper.
Isn't it? It's got a nice feel to it. And I like that you can like change out the heads.
Yeah. Okay.
All right, so these squares are going to be really close to 4.5 inches, which is what we're going to square to. But they are going to need to be squared. So some of them are just going to be shaved and some of them are going to be real. So I'm going to let Missy square a couple with the Clearly Perfect, which, of course, you know, I love that. I'm going to press a few of these open so I can square these the other way.
Okay. So yeah, you can square them either way with, I like to square them. Which way do you like better?
So I prefer that for me, but I know that there's a lot of people who don't have that and they just use the regular ruler. And so I'm going to show the regular ruler. I actually don't mind the regular ruler if I have one that's the right size. So we have this 4.5-inch ruler with a diagonal line on it, which I'll show you. But I love that ruler because I know that the block has to end up this size, so it makes more sense to my brain. And honestly, once I started squaring blocks with this way, then it made sense to me to use any squaring tool. And so I really like squaring those. Yeah. So we do have a bunch squared, but it's good to get them all squared. And what she's doing is she's lining up her stitch line on the ruler stitch line and cutting all the way around it. And then these little edges that she's doing, these are the little wings on the sides, and she's just trimming those off. So when you put those blocks together, there'll be no extra fabric in there. That's the benefit of doing that. I usually just rush past that part because nobody looks inside my quilts.
No, they really don't.
But it is a good habit to get into, for sure.
This side is always the awkward side for me.
Oh, this one over here?
Yeah.
So for me, it's the opposite because I'm left-handed.
Oh, yep.
All right, now you can press yours open. Okay. Now on these, I'm going to take this block right here, and this is 4.5. This is the size I want them to end up with. I'm going to match this diagonal line on the diagonal seam here, and then I can just cut all the way around here. So this makes it really easy because the block is the right size for me, and so I cut two sides, and I flip it, keep that line lined up in the center.
Then you don't have to worry about the dog ears.
No, You're cutting those off as you go. So if you have a block that's the same size, it does make it super easy to use these little squares. And honestly, if you take a ruler and a Sharpie, you can have a diagonal line. So, you know, don't hesitate to make your tools conform to what you would like. See, this one I'm barely shaving anything off. This one's so close. And I used to not square them, and they would work fine-ish, but the pattern people really like that I square my blocks.
I bet they do.
They're trying to write patterns. That one's good.
Yeah.
Oh, is that all of them?
That's all of them. They're done.
There we go.
Yeah.
All right. So now
we have 8.
We have 8, and we need 16 for a block, correct?
Yes, we do.
And tell me how you did your color, because how did you decide what was what?
Well, first I designed the pattern, and then I just used the fabric and just kind of figured out a layout. I turned them probably, 100 times each to decide which way I wanted them to be.
So on all your blocks, you have like 4 that are the same in the middle, and then
Yes.
4 on the outside. So
Yep.
do you choose like 2 sets of 8 that you think are going to go together?
Yeah, that I like together.
Okay, so we've got some over here, and we've got this dark green, and then we've got some reds.
Oh, that red might be pretty with
Red,
this.
is there?
Let's do the red.
All right.
Nice contrast.
Look at these Santas.
Oh,
This
those
fabric
are
is so cute.
Yes. My favorite is the sweaters.
Yeah.
They're so, and the stockings.
I do have a thing for those sweaters.
Yeah. All right.
In the Jenny box, there was a little sweater, template.
Yeah.
Oh, people went nuts over that, and they did the coolest things.
I would love to see
All right,
that.
so
okay.
go ahead and show us how you made that
Okay.
block.
So I always start in the middle with the pinwheel first.
Me too.
And I always have to think about which direction each one needs to go.
So I have a mantra for that.
Okay.
It's light, dark, light, dark, light, dark, light, dark, all seams to the center. And I say it every time I put them together.
You're so full of tricks. I love it. Okay, so I start with my pinwheel, and then I will usually take the other 8 pieces or 4 pieces and put them in the corners.
Because you know that's where they go.
Yes.
All right, we got some more over here.
Okay. And then I just lay out the other blocks the way I want them to go.
And my mantra for that would be backgrounds together.
Yes.
You know, because you're making
Yep,
like
you're putting the,
like an outer flying geese.
right. Now that's one thing I have not done yet is flying geese.
That's just 2 of these sewn together.
Right.
That's a flying geese. Very simple. You have done it. This is a flying geese.
There,
Look at you.
I
You're
have.
way
I
ahead of
didn't
the
even
game.
know it. Okay.
All right. So that is this block right here.
Yes. Yep.
And how do you sew these together? Well, how does your brain work?
The way I like to sew it is in rows.
Okay.
So first I'll just do 1, 2, 3, 4, and then I sew the rows together.
Okay. I kind of do it in columns. So I will fold this over and I will sew all of these in a row, and then I will sew all of these and I'll put the 2 together.
So then you're.
So it's a brain thing. Do what works best for
Yes.
your brain. All right. So now that we've done this block, let's
Yes.
do the secondary block.
Okay.
So these.
So with
it's
the other
same
block,
number of squares, right?
Same number of squares, so 8 of each print, and whichever way you want to do it. But then it's kind of like a block inside a block.
A square inside a square, if you will.
Square in a square.
Ooh, look at this is cool.
See, that's my problem when I
Me
do these.
too.
Oh, I like this.
You're like, oh.
And then I just change one thing.
And you know what would happen to me is I would start showing all the different things it would do. And
Right.
And Jake would be like, no, Mom, that's another
Stop,
quilt. That's a
stop,
whole other
that's-
quilt. Stop. Just that one.
Yeah. I have to look because now,
Well,
of
sure.
course, my brain is,
Well, of
which
course.
way is this one going to go? There we go.
Oh, so it makes the line. So I
Makes
look at
the
this
line,
Yeah.
yes.
See, this is a flying geese right here.
Oh, I didn't even know.
Look at you.
See, I'm making flying geese and I didn't even know it.
Okay, I'll turn this one out. So all
So
the
all
corner
these-
colors are out.
They're on the outside.
And then all these colors are
Go
in.
to the inside. So then you've got
Isn't that so cute?
the border all the way
Oh
around.
my gosh. And the secondary block in here is this right here, which makes this cute little
Right.
hourglass. So you've actually made 3 different
Right.
patterns
with
with
2
the same.
blocks.
All right, so let's go ahead and sew this one together.
Okay.
So I'm going to just chain piece these straight down the side. And you'll just feed them to me.
I'll be your Vanna White.
There we go. My Vanna, I
Your
love it.
Vanna.
All right. Now what I'm going to do before I sew the next ones is I'll go back and sew these 2 together because they're all
Without
linked.
even trimming.
They're linked by a thread. We call that chain piecing, and the chain is the thread that you don't cut off in between. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to, you know what, I think this little 4.5 inch one, I don't think this one got trimmed.
Oh.
So we're just going to like make sure that our middles match up and let it just stick out a little bit. It'll be fine in the end, I promise. All right, so then we'll add this next one on. And because you know, it is a little dangerous because if you do make a mistake, you know, you're making a big one.
Right.
But
Well, and now I'm like rethinking, did I lay these out right?
you did, because I can see them going together.
Mine right here. When I started laying them out again, I'm double checking myself. I did, but. Oh,
All right,
look at that.
so this is this way. Yeah, I always, you want to check before you sew so that, I mean, even though we love the seam ripper.
We really do. It's our friend.
We just don't want to use it too often.
If we can help it.
If we can help it. All right, there's those.
Okay, so we've got.
You can press that.
Okay.
And then these, we'll start 1. And how you sew these together, there are a lot of row sewers out there. So just, if that's what you're comfortable doing, just do it, because it's just a brain thing for you.
To do it in whatever way, you're not going to mess it up.
And sometimes that changes for me on a daily basis. Sometimes I'll be like, you know what? I'm going to sew these together in rows. All right, so now these should be right, and I'm going to open
let's
them up
hope
and
so.
see.
I mean, if we have to demonstrate the seam ripper, we can.
We surely can. You can't be any kind of a quilter without becoming a pro at that. I got asked a question the other day, and it was like, how do you know when you're not a beginner anymore?
I saw
And,
that.
and
Yeah.
I'm like, I felt like a beginner for a really
long
long
time.
time.
Yeah.
And then, but when I know seriously now I'm not a beginner, but I think every time you try a new pattern,
You're a beginner.
You're kind of
You're
a
always,
beginner.
You're kind of
Yeah.
always a beginner because you're always learning new things. That's how I like to look at it.
Yeah. And people will ask me, what about those first quilts? Do they embarrass you? And I'm like, I honor those.
the
That's where I
best.
began. Yeah. So I don't have a problem with owning that at all. It's just part of my journey. We're all on one.
And I used to think when making blocks that everything had to be perfect and everything had to match up just right. And I quickly learned that it will all quilt out.
It really will.
It really will.
So for me, there are people who learn to quilt following me, and they're just like so relieved that they don't have to be perfect because it just comes together and nobody looks inside.
Well, I will say when I was here the first time and I saw that in some of the quilts, I felt so much better about actually making one myself.
Yes.
Because I didn't feel like it had to be perfect.
No, it doesn't.
Okay.
I'm just going to trim off this because this one did not get trimmed somehow, and it just has a little bitty edge out here. And while I can fit that into the square, see, this one is real big.
Yep.
But if I put this line right on here,
Yep.
I can fix that bigness. Is bigness a word?
It is now.
It is now. I love you so much. You just let me be me. There we go. And then these two are going to go together.
Yes.
And
So cute.
one thing I love about half square triangles is that you're able to, every time you get to a seam, it like re-squares up your block.
Yes.
You know if those seams don't line up, you need to go back and look at
Right.
something. And so I like to make sure that my seams are going opposite directions, and sometimes they are, and sometimes you just make them behave. And but at the end of the day, nobody looks inside. All right, so if you will, look at that.
That's so cute.
All right, press that. Look at me giving orders.
That's okay.
I was telling Missy that one of the things I get asked most is people will say to me, I had no idea you were so tall. And she goes, I get this is the opposite. I had no idea you were so short. All right, let me go ahead and press this. The reason is because if you have a crease in your seam, it can change the size of your block.
It can.
And you want them to line up real nice. So I just make sure that there's no little creases. All right, so let's look at, you take this one, and let's look at how these go together in the block. So I'm going to start.
Don't go up too high.
Yeah, right here. So this is how they go, and you literally just sew them together.
And it's just opposite every other row.
Right.
Yeah.
So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we're making 20 of these blocks, 10 of each,
Yep,
right?
10 of each.
And then, so what size does that make the quilt? It says on the paper right there.
You're testing me.
It's 64
by 80.
Yeah, and
Yep.
so these are nice big blocks. So
Yes.
I think this would make a great bed runner. It'd make a great table runner.
Yeah.
One of these, look how cute of a pillow this would be.
Very cute pillow.
So very versatile pattern, lots of things we can do with it. We talked about the quilting pattern and the back and the size. I think we're good.
I think so.
I think you guys can now make this.
They can make it. It's very easy to make.
Very easy.
Very easy.
So if you like this pattern, I hope you'll go check out Missy's site. It's called The Little Green Bean over on Instagram.
Yes.
Right?
Yes, we have a lot of fun over there.
But you have something more for us, don't you?
I do.
Yes. Let's see it. So Missy made this quilt in a different fabric.
Here,
Look
you
how
grab one
cute it
side.
is. So this is Sandy Gervais fabric, and it's a Riley Blake line. And I mean, it's just darling. When you see it in a different color, it looks so different. It's
Pretty.
a very happy
Yes,
line.
very happy.
So we hope you enjoyed this tutorial on the Pinwheel Path from Missy and I and the Missouri Star Quilt Company. We'll see you later.
Bye.